Hey, everybody. For once, I'm not alone.
Woo!
Woo!
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Nick's here with me. Glasses Films, Midnight Review. I'm Carson. And hotly anticipated film this week, Halloween 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty stoked on that shit right there.
Going in pretty dark on it. I saw the first trailer. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty convinced.
Yeah. I know. I don't know. The parts that really convinced me was like Jamie Lee Curtis again. I'm like, all right.
The kind of joke implication that it's like a sequel and none of the other movies happen.
Yeah, for like the third time they've like just said fuck all the sequels. So yeah, doing that again. The biggest thing is John Carpenter coming back and doing the score. I'm like, all right, we got something going on now. But yeah, it just seems it looks a little bit like the tables are turned because Laurie Strode is like, I've always wanted him to come back so I could murder him.
How the turntables.
Exactly, and that's pretty that's a pretty exciting thought. And the other thing that I'm interested in is the level of violence and gore that's going to be in this, because in the trailer
there's some pretty
haunting imagery.
Just like the
yeah, he's like ratting the door to some restroom and he like drops a bunch of teeth into the stall and you're like, that's more graphic than anything in the first movie.
Well, that's the thing is, the first movie, the scariest part about it is just that there is no backstory, there is no motive. It's just a dude who's like, I'm gonna fucking kill some teenagers.
Yeah. But what gets me is the way that that's presented in the trailer, at least, is I'm like, okay, if John Carpenter were to do something like that, that's kind of the way he would present it. Is he wouldn't like Rob Zombie would be like, I'm going to show each tooth being pulled out individually. Whereas it's like, nope, just teeth. I'm like, all right, that's you're getting, I mean, it doesn't scare me, but it's like, that's effective. That's interesting. I like that. So
for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's go in.
Let's go.
Chickadee, check this out.
I've waited for him.
And we just got out of the movie. So I'm going to get the bad stuff out of the way real quick. And by bad stuff, I mean one thing that just didn't totally work for me. And that was the relationship between Laurie Strode and her daughter. I felt like that could have actually used a little bit more. Just a little bit.
I was indifferent on it.
But yeah, I mean, at worst, it's like, hey, he could have done better, but still.
I felt like there was a good payoff, and I'm not really going into a Halloween movie.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, if you're going to put it in there, you can do better. But again, this is one small thing that I'm like, you can do better, not you did a terrible job. It was still effective and paid off well. What I will say is everything else about this film I loved. I really loved this film. It is one of the more effective horror films this year, and I'm very happy to have gotten a chance to see it in cinemas. What I do think is kind of interesting I'm going to flip this. Oh no! Alright, 1 second. There we go. Anyway, what I will say is it's interesting looking at this film in that it sees Laurie as growing stronger and is becoming someone who is very paranoid and who develops a survivalist mentality. Whereas in 20 years ago, in H2O, she went a different direction. So it's kind of interesting that we've got both sides of this coin, because in that one, she's just like, I want to put that all behind me. I live my life normal. So it's like, it was one thing that had a significant impact on her life, but she's tried to put it behind her. So I like the way this flips the script on that.
Especially because this is what is canon now.
It is canon! Yeah. There was one other thing that I was like, wait, are they going to do the thing that I think they're going to do? And they didn't do it. I'm not disappointed because it would have been a lot to explain. We'll talk about that later because I want to keep this spoiler free. But really solid, just great. Like, it was a fun, exciting slasher film. And first of all, we just don't really get slasher films very often. I mean, if we do, it's like Hatchet. Not saying anything bad about Hatchet, but it doesn't have as wide a release. It's an independent film. Those are the only ones.
Or like Happy Death Day, or Happy Death Day 2 You.
We're gonna move on from that one. So yeah, I think this was very strong, very effective, and you know, it is a worthy sequel. So for me, because you know, our age, we didn't grow up with Halloween.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't want me watching horror movies when I was younger, so I never grew up with Halloween. And nobody else around me really grew up with Halloween either. So I look at Halloween, I'm like, okay, that is solid. The 1978, that is solid. I see where everything else pulled from. I see how influential this movie was.
Mm-hmm.
And then in watching this one, I'm like, okay, if this is how people felt back then, I completely get it. Yeah. And I kind of now hope that we get not a resurgence of these past slasher films. Like, I don't really need another Freddy movie. I would be okay with another Jason.
I could go with another Freddy movie.
But I would like different. I want different characters, and I would like to explore different things. So and going back to that mother-daughter thing, that is the only time that I was like, oh, missing Deborah Hill right now, because she is really what made the dialogue between all of the friends in the original Halloween. She's what made it pop, made it realistic. Mm-hmm. Again, small aside, but this film, very effective, very scary. Love the soundtrack, love the score. I want it now. Performances were all stellar. Yay, Judy Greer. Just give me more of her and stuff. I've been missing her lately. It's like, great, she got a really tiny part in Jurassic World. Woo. Can Hollywood start using her? And Ant-Man. So she has the same screen time in all three of those films.
She's kind of like the same kind of character she is in Ant-Man in this movie.
To an extent, yeah.
Well, I just mean concerned mother, but one's like a PG-13 happy.
The other is sick of her mom's shit.
Slapstick, like Marvel heroes setting.
So yeah, I mean,
the other one's murders.
Yeah,
gruesome murders.
I don't think we really need to go too deep into the story because it is what you think it is.
There's not much to it. Like, there's a couple. I don't want to say like plot twists, because saying plot twists in a horror movie is just fucking stupid. Yeah. Because a straightforward horror movie is usually not good. Except for Jason X.
Jason X is a perfect fan film.
Jason X is great.
But yeah, this film, it does what it sets out to do, and it does it briskly. I am, oh thank God it's only 90 minutes long, years old.
For sure. Like, it was very well paced, especially given, like, this movie has, like, a fucking body count.
Like, it does,
it's not like, 3 teenagers or whatever. It's like, there's a significant, like, body count.
Very effective kills, too.
And that's one of the things I liked, was that I actually like this more than the first Halloween.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
Sure. Because the first Halloween was really not, like, the thing that's scary about it is that, like, it's just a dude out to kill people. I like that they kind of, like, we have, like, a sort of, I don't know, a weird combination of, like, desensitized and higher standard of, like, what we want out of, like, rated R murder. Yeah. And this movie did that, like, really well. Like, it's not a lot of, like, I'm stabbed and there's blood. It's like, there's some, like,
there's some murder.
Like, murderization.
But it's
and
still,
they're like, it's still like the clean, the Michael Myers, you know? Yeah, baby. Fucking kills.
It very much feels in keeping with what.
Gross.
Like, it's the same quality that the original Halloween had, but stepped up for today's audience.
Actually bumped up like 40 years later.
Yeah, like, really. Very effective. Yeah. I just really, really dug the whole thing. I know this is going to sound really lame, but I'll probably come back here on Halloween and watch it again, just for fun. I mean, beats going and seeing Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Anyway, next week, I don't know if
it'll be around next week, but I don't know what's out.
Yeah. Suspiria is coming out in limited release next week, which I don't know if that'll come here or not. It might just be a New York and Los Angeles thing. If it is, that's what we're watching. If it isn't, we're watching it in 2 weeks. So until then, Carson, Nick, Glasshouse Films, youtube.com/glassfilmshouse. Please tell me what you thought of this film, and also what you think of other slasher films. I'm actually pretty interested in that. Facebook.com/glasshousefilms, and Twitter, where I'm most active, at glasshousefilms. We will see you all next week for either Suspiria or a mystery movie of some sort. We don't know.
Happy Death Day 2, Valentine's Day 2019.
Oh.